Well, a good day to you. It's Take Two with Jerry and Debbie. And you on EWTN Radio. I am Jerry Usher along with Debbie Georgiani. And we are going to be talking about a subject that I'm sure is near and dear to your heart. Debbie, we're going to be looking back at, well, yesterday, but talking about our moms, living or deceased. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I love talking about our moms, and yesterday was Mother's Day. We hope all the mothers, whether you have your children with you, they are maybe estranged or they have passed on, or you were never truly had that opportunity to have children of your own. You're spiritual mothers to so many, right? Or you're a great aunt, or you're a wonderful godmother. And so all mothers, I just wanted to really emphasize it, because our pastor this weekend at Mass, he had us all stand up, and he went on and on and on about mothers and what it means for a woman to love, and to love generously. The expansive way of their hearts, and how much, whether they've had their actual, biological children, or they are a spiritual mother to so many, or a godmother, like I said, or just the way a woman loves. And it was so beautiful. I mean, there wasn't a dry eye in the whole entire church. And I just wanted to say to all the moms out there, living and deceased, you're remembering your moms. I think mothers are awesome. And so thank you for being a great mother. And of course, our spiritual mother, the Blessed Mother in the month of May, Jerry. So today we're honoring mothers, and we're talking about what were they good at, or what they're still good at if they're with us. So I think it's going to be a fun show.
Indeed. Please start calling right now. Share with us, your mom was the best at what, or is the best at doing what? Mm-hmm. It's a wide open question for you, and we're going to get a lot of responses, I'm sure. So please, phone lines are open right now. Best time to call 833-288-EWTN, 833-288-3986. A chance for you to give a shout out to the world about what your mom did the best or does the best, in your opinion. 833-288-3986.
So I have to share this. I was talking to a dear friend, Bernadette, and she was sharing about her mother, her late mother, Agnes. And she said Agnes had an incredible wit. She would say the funniest things, and it used to make everybody laugh. And I just think it's hilarious. So I just have to share it. I have to share one of the things that Agnes used to say. She used to say, men, if you're suffering a breakup, with a boyfriend or something like that, she would say, men are like buses. There's a next one coming around the corner in just a few minutes. I'm thinking, okay, that's very interesting. I love that. But you know what? Mothers that have that great wit. My mother used to have that quick. My mom, Connie used to have that quick wit as well.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what Connie used to have that nobody knew about except us in the family. Well, actually, I take that back. Everybody in New Jersey pretty much knew it. My mother was taught how to whistle without, how you have those high piercing whistles, that shrilling whistle sound. And some people do it where they stick their fingers, in their mouth and they can whistle. My mother could do it without having, she could just do it with her mouth, right? She didn't have to put her fingers to accentuate the sound. And I'm not joking, Jerry. It was ear piercing. And that's how she used to call us for dinner. We would be acres away from our house, and you'd hear that shrill, and you'd go running.
Beautiful. That's a great talent that she had.
Isn't that hilarious?
Yeah.
I know. That's what she's famous for.
Well, calls are starting to come in. Matt Gabensky, our call screener, is on the job today, 833-288-3986. We are honoring our mothers, yesterday being Mother's Day. We typically might have done a Mother's Day program going into the weekend, but we had our first Friday show on the Eucharist. So today we are looking back at yesterday and mothers. What is your mom the best at? What does she do really, really super well? Maybe it's more than one thing. Or if she's deceased, what was your mom the best at? Please complete that sentence for us at 833-288-3986. And I want to just, Debbie, you're going to appreciate this because you've been here. You've been to Yuma before. I was in Yuma, Arizona on a Saturday for a fundraising dinner for Yuma Catholic Radio. And I just want to say the people are absolutely amazing. I met so many good people. They love our show. They love EWTN Catholic Radio. And so it was just a good fundraising event. I think they made their goal of what they needed to raise to keep broadcasting for a while. So, like I said, you've been here, Debbie, and you know how wonderful these people are in Yuma.
And didn't I share that with you? Didn't I say you're going to feel like you're one of the family in Yuma? And then, so folks, if you're listening on Yuma Catholic Radio, convince Jerry to move from California over to Arizona.
Right. You would want me to not move to Yuma, but to Phoenix, right?
Well, it would be closer because actually you would be several hours away from where I live in the East Valley. So yes, but at least if I got you on the Arizona side, that would be good.
So again, thank you to you beautiful folks there in Yuma when I was there. It was just a fantastic event. So
they're amazing.
We need Catholic radio now more than ever. And as you like to say, Debbie, a lot of stations, dear family, are having their pledge drives this time of the year. So please be generous and support your local Catholic station or network, and also EWTN.
So I'm super excited. I got a new computer. So now I have 3 computer screens in front of me. It's hilarious. And my husband actually keeps texting me and he goes, "Are you okay?" He goes, Are you going to be okay with all that technology around you? So because of that, I put on the show calendar coming up in the next couple of weeks, is technology controlling your life? You see, folks, we try to relate our topics to what's going on in our real lives, so it's kind of funny. But I'm getting good at it. I feel like one of those telephone operators, from that what was that old show, Laugh-In?
Yeah, what was her name?
One ringy dingy, one what wasn't it? Was it Ruth? No.
Yeah, Ruth Bussey or something like that.
I don't know. See, folks, we're getting old. Can somebody help us out here? Lily Tomlin, that's it.
Oh, Lily.
Look at Ace McKay go. He's so good. I mean, he knows everything. He's got a lot of stuff stored in that brain of his.
Yeah, he does. Very, very media savvy, we should say, I think.
Media savvy.
Media savvy.
Yeah. Jerry, we have full phone lines.
We sure do. This is going to be a wonderful conversation.
Absolutely. So please keep calling when a line becomes open. Jump in and brag about your mom, living or deceased. We'll put all the moms in our prayer book. Happy Mother's Day again to all mothers and our Blessed Mother. Absolutely. 833-288-3986.
진리를 살고 가톨릭으로 산다.
Živi istinu, živi katoličanstvo.
Vivere nella verità, vivere da cattolico.
In any language, it means the same. Live truth. Live Catholic. EWTN.
Are you ready to spread your wings? Wings is the weekly newsletter that's packed with exclusive news, program information, features, and updates of all that's going on at the Global Catholic Network. To sign up, go to EWTN.com, click subscribe, enter your name and email address, and you'll start getting your wings every week. Get your wings today. It's the weekly newsletter from EWTN, the Global Catholic Network.
Forever they will be venerated, distinguished for heroic virtue and raised to the full honors of the altar as witnesses to the Christian faithful. Live from St. Peter's Square, Holy Mass with canonizations celebrated by Pope Francis, Sunday at 4 a.m. Eastern and again at noon Eastern on EWTN TV.
Never miss any of your favorite EWTN television or radio shows when you have the Amazon Fire TV player. All you need is a high-speed internet connection, a TV, and the Amazon Fire TV player.
We're so glad you're with us today on Take Two with Jerry and Debbie. We're talking about our moms, living and deceased, and what they did best. Tell us something about what they did that just you always remember. I talked about my mom having that shrilling, ear-piercing whistle of hers, and we could hear it from miles away. In fact, she was kind of a fun person to take to events because people would say, Connie, Connie, can we hear that whistle? And then everybody would like clean out their ears afterwards because they would go, that was a little too loud, Connie. And she goes, well, you wanted to hear it. So that's what my mother used to contribute to the world besides being a mom of 6 kids. Okay, Jerry, before we get to the phones, real quickly, if I may, I just wanted to share with our listeners EWTN bookmark brief email. It's so great. If you enjoy EWTN bookmark brief with Doug Keck, you can receive weekly emails, including a short video blog. Now, Jerry, this is so cool because you get to see from the authors right away what's coming out on EWTNRC.com. It's really cool. It features the author giving a short synopsis. Yep, and it's great. So you visit EWTN.com and you click on subscribe. And why I like this, Jerry, is because you get books ahead of time. And then you see the interview and you hear from the author. And Doug Keck does such a great job. I've ordered more books that way. So I want to thank Doug Keck for doing that fine work and helping us stay abreast, because there's a lot of great work that's coming out in books and stuff, and it's hard to figure out what works, you know?
Yeah, exactly. All right, good stuff. Well, we have actually a phone line open. They're mostly full right now. And we invite you to call in. Our topic today is my mom is the best at what, or was the best at if she is deceased. Great chance for you to honor your mom today, a day after the official Mother's Day, but every day actually is Mother's Day, as we love our moms, living or deceased. So here's the number, 833-288-3986. And we're going to go to Kathy, who is in Cheyenne, Wyoming, listening on the Catholic Radio Network. Hi, Kathy. Welcome.
Hi.
How are you?
Been a couple of years. I'm good. I'm great.
Good.
Just quickly, I lost my mom and dad about 5 weeks apart, almost 3 years ago now. But they were married almost 74 years, and my parents had 15 children. And but I can remember growing up, my parents were our spiritual warriors. My mother was a cradle Catholic. My dad was a convert from Christian Science back in 1945. And but my mother was a combination. I always saw her as a great combination of Martha and Mary. She always had her little chores and all the little children, toting her around and whatever. And but she also made time for her prayer life and made sure that we had our prayers. And she had the patience of Job. There were 7 younger than me. Actually 8. I lost 2 of my brothers as infants, but there were always just little madness running around, and she would just kind of walk around through it and say, if somebody's having a tantrum, she would just close the door and say, okay, come out when you're done, and or whatever, and she would just pick them up and move them and close the door. And I don't remember my mother ever being angry. I don't remember my parents ever being angry with each other, especially. So I just wanted to share that I'm so blessed that God chose my parents for me.
Yeah.
I got the $64 million prize, I guess. And back in the 50s, growing up, it was I'm going on 70 now, so. But back in the 50s, it was a different world back then when you had that many children. And we grew up in the Army.
Wow.
My mom was a nurse, actually. She joined the Army to escape Wisconsin. And then she and my dad met in Santa Fe, and they were married ever since. So growing up in the Army with that many children was an interesting way of life, too. But anyway, I was just gifted with very spiritually grounded parents and a mother that had great patience, and they were both very organized. So it was organized chaos for us.
I guess, yeah. Wow, Kathy, they were married 74 years, you said. Is that right?
Almost 74 years.
Wow.
And then my dad, something attacked him. We don't know what, because he didn't even have an order for Tylenol or anything. They were in like an independent living kind of facility. And he was gone in about 3 weeks. So he went very suddenly, but he was holding on for her. And it really took all of my siblings and I to just remind him, Dad, you taught us what to do. Mom's going to be okay. We're going to make sure she's okay. And then she held on about 5 more weeks. But she was she was in very deep prayer when at her last days. She was tiny too. She only weighed about 70 pounds when she died, but she only weighed about 90 pounds my whole life. So, but we had just a wall of pictures, Sacred Heart of Jesus. My dad's in the middle, and all of us kids, and so she was communicating with somebody because this one day, one of my brothers and I, we had like 24 hours. Two of us would be with her at a time, and she just dropped her hands and she's looking at her wall and she said, well, how long do they have to wait? Like she was waiting for her children to come with her. So my brother just, in his wit, he just chimed in. He said, Mom, don't you know there's a waiting list? You could have a line. You've got to go back to the back of the line. So when it's your turn, you need to go. And the rest of us will get to go when it's our turn. And she said, yeah, that's right. And then she passed away about a day or two later. So, yeah. So
can you give us their first names, Kathy?
Her first name is Flo. I think you have my parents, Howard and Flo, are in the book.
I thought so.
I called after.
Yes.
Yeah. So anyway, I just wanted to share that because I know so many people struggle in their relationships with their moms, but it was great joy for us actually when they passed. They were 96 and 98, and they were ready. So it just gives me great joy that they're okay now. So
beautiful. No, it's an amazing story, Kathy. And you being one of 15, surviving kids. You talked about, I think you said something like organized chaos or something like that. But I'm sure you all are so blessed in so many ways. And just to hear about both of your parents, not just your mom today, but both of your parents, being so grounded spiritually and being so open to life, and God bless them with long lives. And it sounds like they had a beautiful, passing from this life to the next. So what a beautiful account of your entire family. Yeah, Debbie.
I was just going to say, Kathy, it's good to hear from you again. Did I make you go through that terrible exercise of having to go through your big family?
I think we did have this discussion once before when they passed away. Yeah, but it's okay. We're all very close, and in fact, two of my siblings and I were taking our RVs, and we're going to do the Lewis and Clark Trail this year with our RVs. So we're all very close, and we stay very close to my dad's sisters. So we still have four of my dad's sisters.
Well, it's funny, Kathy, because everybody in big families, I have them go through this exercise. I had one person say to me, that's terrible that you put people on the spot. What if they forget a sibling? I said, that's okay. They forgot a sibling, right, Kathy?
You don't. Actually, in the big families, you're trained to memorize your family list backwards and forward because you're asked so many times. Okay, start from the youngest up and the oldest down. And my dad, we used to have a head count, and we'd have to count off oldest to youngest or youngest to oldest. So,
wow. Yeah. See, thank you, Kathy. You make me feel better. So I have to, then I'm going to continue on with this wonderful exercise then of people remembering their gigantic big families, because I think it's a beautiful thing, Kathy.
Well, and we had big families back then at church, especially. But I don't know a lot of the families that were as close as we are. But most of the bigger families are all very close that I grew up with. Yeah. So.
Well, you're blessed. It's good to hear your voice again, and happy Mother's Day to you. And we're so happy. We hope you had a great weekend. And Kathy, thank you for gracing this conversation today. And I think your beautiful parents, Howard and Flo, are probably the good Lord is letting them smile at this.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, Kathy, very much. Yeah. All right, we're off to a great start here in our conversation about our moms, living or deceased. What is or was your mom just really the best at? What did she do just extremely, extraordinarily well, maybe unique among moms? Well, most moms have a lot of the same qualities and gifts. 833-288-3986.
What about your mom?
My mom, you know what, I like to say she was the best at juggling. And what I mean by that is a single mom with 5 kids, and she had to work 2 or 3 jobs. So she was, hustling to work and then to, one of our ball games or one of our events at school or something. And yeah, she just had a lot of balls in the air all the time. And she managed them all very, very beautifully, and really without complaining too. She was very, very gifted at keeping a lot of things going at the same time.
Dorothy.
Dorothy, yeah.
I'll put her in the book again.
Is she in the book?
She's been in the book like 5 times with my mom, Connie. They keep circulating.
Right.
We need all the prayers we can get, folks, for everybody. Okay, Jerriann is up next in Anchorage, Alaska, listening on Holy Rosary Radio. Oh, I love that. Hi, Jerriann. Thanks for waiting and welcome.
Hi. Thank you. I'm kind of stunned that I called, but I wanted to share a story about my mom. She has advanced Alzheimer's, and so she's been in some form of assisted living for probably 10, 11 years. But I took her out one day to get to the doctor, and afterwards we stopped at Taco Bell, and she sat at the table while I got some food, and her memory was pretty damaged by then. But I turned around, and she's sitting with 2 homeless men. So I got a couple extra tacos, and I go back to the table, and I listen to this conversation, a real conversation, one that I could not have had with my mom at that point. And one of the gentlemen was telling her that he was homeless because he'd lost his job, and that he had family in Anchorage. And his mom was here, and his mom wanted him to come live with her. And he had told her no because he was a man and he should take care of himself. Mm. And my mom looks up, and she says, well, that is truly a shame. You know, your mom loves you, and she worries about you, and she knows you're out here on the street. She's not sleeping. And then went on to tell him that her perspective from her, a very clear perspective, that his mom needed her, needed him. Mm-hmm. His mom needed him to be with her. And I'm just kind of a observer. And the fellow starts crying, and he gives her a hug, and he said, I'm going to go call my mom. And he was in his 40s, I think, my best guesstimate. So he gets up with his friend, and they go to leave. And I was stunned because it's very hard to have a full conversation with my mom at that point. And by the time we got to the car, my mom had completely forgotten it happened.
Amazing.
But in those moments, when she was doing God's work,
yeah,
and
for sure.
At a point, she was a very, very kind person, and if it had been 15 years earlier, she might have had the same conversation with him. But you know, I'd have to remind her who my kids were every time I came to visit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know, and but there's been a few different times, even as she's gotten, the disease has progressed, where she still demonstrates her heart and that genuine kindness. They sent us a video the other day of my mom dancing in the middle of the night. Got up and
right?
Started dancing with some of the caregivers, and it was really affirming for us, the 4 of us, the kids, about her spirit. So that's my story.
Well, that's absolutely beautiful, Jerriann. And as you told that story, I was thinking, you know, your mother spoke to that homeless man as only a mother could. You know, she knew what his mother was probably going through, and I think that was really a Holy Spirit moment. You know, where God really allowed your mom to be lucid and have that conversation and have those right words to share with that man. What an amazing story. Do you want to give us your mom's first name, Jerriann? We'll certainly pray for her, and we'll pray for you and all of your family.
Oh, thank you. Her name is Eileen, Eileen.
Okay.
Eileen, beautiful. Her spirit's strong. And she's got a mother's heart, and you're very blessed. And thank you so much for sharing her story. I was an emotional mess as you were talking. I kept typing over to Jerry. I could picture your mom talking to. Anyway, you know where I was going with this. It's just that's a mother's heart coming out and shining, and for her to interact and have the right words to say, it's truly God working through her. So God bless you, Jerriann. That was an amazing story. Wow.
It was, yeah. There are more to come, too, but we do have an open phone line that Jerriann was on. If you'd like to be part of this conversation, we're talking about our moms on Mother's Day, what they are really good at doing, super at doing. Phil, answer the question. My mom is the best at what, or was the best if she is deceased and gone on to her eternal reward? 833-288-EWTN, 833-288-3986. We're going to resume with Doug in just a minute.
This is Prudence Robertson, host of EWTN Pro-Life Weekly.
I'm Colin Flynn, EWTN Newsroom correspondent.
Get trusted Catholic news every day on EWTN radio and television.
I'm Evangelist Alveda King of Priest for Life with Pro-Life Update. On the first Easter Sunday afternoon, 2 disciples were walking on the road to Emmaus, discussing all the events that had just occurred. However, they did not yet realize that Jesus had risen from the dead. Even when Jesus began walking with them on that road, they did not recognize him. We do not know what changes the risen body causes in our appearance. But aside from that factor, we read in this gospel account that the disciples were looking downcast. Often, we are too absorbed in our own disappointment to see that hope is right in front of us. This is the cause with many who are pregnant, afraid, and tempted to abort. Despair and fear can lead to the violence of abortion unless we intervene and show that the Lord is walking with us. I'm Evangelist Alveda King on the EWTN Global Catholic Radio Network.
You can be a part of Take Two with Jerry and Debbie. Text EWTN to 55000. Wait for a response, then text us with your first name and question. It's that easy. Message and data rates may apply.
At the Masterpiece Donut Shop, Rob Evans and Duncan the Donut help children explore the Mass step by step with fun songs and meaningful lessons. Visit EWTN.com/kids for more.
Tomorrow morning on the Sunrise Morning Show, we'll celebrate the feast of St. Damien of Molokai, and Holly Ordway will unpack the theme of resurrection in the works of J.R.R. Tolkien. Now back to Take Two with Jerry and Debbie.
Okay, we were talking about our moms today, Mother's Day yesterday. I hope you had just a great opportunity to be with your mom or talk to your mom or just to share a few moments with her one way or another, whether in person or by phone or maybe even by, on Facebook or, maybe on Skype or something. We're asking you today, your mom was the best at what or is the best at what? 833-288-3986.
Okay, you said, did you talk to your mom? I have a really beautiful picture that we used when my mom passed away at the funeral, and it's in the back bedroom where I live. And I picked up the picture, and I said, Connie, happy Mother's Day. This is the first Mother's Day without you, and here on Earth. And I said, you were a great mom. So I did talk to her, Jerry.
Beautiful.
I just hope the good Lord let her hear it.
Right.
Okay,
yeah, go ahead. We're going to go to Doug in Blooming Prairie, Minnesota, listening to us on Real Presence Radio. Hello, Doug. Welcome back to the program.
Hey, Doug.
Hi there. Yeah, see, my mom was good at a lot of things. She won the Pillsbury Bake Off, twice. Top 100 finalist. She was a musician, but the biggest thing I think I gained from her was she was a living example of what St. John Paul II called a feminine genius. I also call it maternal intuition. Women just have a better way to sense what others are going through. It's just the way they're built. I mean, the man deposits his seed, but the woman carries and nurtures a child for 9 months. So that they just have a better intuition and empathy towards others. And just a short example of that, I was at the age of going from toys to socks and underwear at Christmas time, and it was, kind of a rough spot for me. And the year when I got the underwear and sweaters instead of toys, I kind of went to bed early. And you would think I might get lost in the shuffle, with 9 siblings, but she missed me and realized that I'd gone to bed early and came up to my room asking, is everything all right? Did you like your present? And I just kind of give her, yeah. But reflecting on that, it often comes back to me just how keyed into her children she was. I did not get lost in the shuffle.
Mm-hmm.
And just little aside, it kind of reminded me of our retreat where I met you guys. And the part that really stuck with me was toward the end when Debbie, you shared how you'd all been praying for a moment of grace for all of us. And the emotion that accompanied you telling us that, left no doubt. This wasn't just lip service. You really had a concern for all of us at that retreat. And it's just that maternal intuition, that feminine genius that my mom showed me, and it's really needed in this age of gender dysphoria. So that's it in a nutshell.
Oh, Doug. Well, moms know best, absolutely. And Doug, your mom's first name? June. Oh, that's Marty's mom's first name. I didn't know that. Wow. Marty's mom, my mother-in-law is June. Okay, so Doug, thank you so much for sharing that. You said it so beautifully about your mother. And that's exactly what our pastor was talking about yesterday, is John Paul II's Feminine Genius, about how the mother, just has those instincts, right? And has that understanding and the empathy and what mothers can do. And I just wanted to say too, that it's so interesting how women work, because there's women that have had their own children that have walked this earth, their biological children. And that's an element, that's an aspect of motherhood. Then there's mothers that have really tried hard to have kids, and they've had even multiple miscarriages, but they are mothers. And then there's women that have chosen to really dive deeply into their religious life, and they're mothers, they're spiritual mothers. And then there's people that have women that have said, I'm going to take on my whole family and be a mother to my family, my sister's kids, my brother's kids, and they're mothers. And it's interesting how all of us have a different viewpoint, because we've had a different aspect. Maybe we had one child or 15 children, like Kathy's family. Okay. But it's so interesting, because if you talk to another woman, we all kind of share those same traits. And Doug, you tapped into it so beautifully. I loved every word of it. I just want to state for the record, we did not pay Doug to call in at all and share this. He was truly spoke this from his heart, and I hope all women are listening to Doug today. Jerry?
Well, I can't add to that. I agree with you, Doug. My mom certainly had that as well. And usually, these are the ones I remember. Usually it was when I had done something wrong, She always kind of sensed, what did you do now?
So, Jerry, you were a good kid, though.
Yeah. I got into a little mischief once in a while, but we all do. All kids do.
Yeah. But Doug, don't you agree, like you said at the very end, don't we need to speak more about this in a world that is so chaotic and it's blurry and people can't really understand where they're going, the next steps? They can't even see the next steps in front of them. Don't you think we need to have more conversations like this?
Jerry's talking about his mom sensing when he did something wrong. It reminds me of that scripture, a sword shall pierce your heart, so that the secret thoughts of many, alluding to the conscience, will be revealed. So, it's very abstract, and you could ponder it all day, but something about that maternal intuition, that feminine genius, gets to the core of our secret thoughts, our conscience, and which you got to get to in order to be converted and born again. So yeah, deep stuff there.
Yeah, absolutely. You're right on, Doug. Another great contribution to the program. We appreciate that. Blessings to you and everyone there in your beautiful part of the country. We appreciate you joining us.
And he sounds strong. So it sounds like you're recovering well, Doug, and we've been praying, so keep us posted. Okay, we just got a message. So I need Kathy in Cheyenne, Kentucky. Is that correct? Isn't there a Cheyenne, Wyoming?
Well, yeah, she was in Wyoming.
Oh, this is Wyoming. Why did I have Kentucky down there? It's Cheyenne. Why did I have that? Okay, maybe it was a mistake. Okay, so Cheyenne, Wyoming. Kathy, we got a message. Can you email us a picture of your whole family? Can you email us a picture of your gigantic family? Everybody wants to see it. Okay, so take2@EWTN.com. Why did I have Kentucky down there? What's the matter with me? Is it because it's Monday?
Could be, yeah.
But you know what? Could be. Jerry, that was a kind way of saying, Debbie, you're always like this.
Well, we got a prayer intention from Dominic via email at take2@EWTN.com, asking for prayers for his mom, who he says is expecting twins and has 5 kids. So more kids on the way for Dominic's mom. So we'll definitely pray for her, Dominic. Absolutely.
Okay, absolutely. Okay, so Diane is up next in Alaska. Look at Alaska go today. EWTN app is the way Diane's listening. And welcome, Diane.
Hello, Diane. Yeah, there you go. Welcome. I heard you for a second.
Hello?
Yes.
Are you talking to me?
Are you Diane?
No, I'm Michelle.
Oh, well, welcome to the program, Michelle. Sorry about that.
Thanks. My name is Michelle, and I'm from Eagle River, Alaska, and I wanted to call and tell you about my mom. My mom is in her late 80s, and she and Dad have been married for 68 years. 68 years. Wow. And I grew up on a homestead in Alaska along the rail belt, so there's no roads in and out. The only way to get in and out of our homestead was by train. And I want to tell you, my mother is a superwoman. She knows how to clear, plow, plant, and harvest, and not only that, but preserve the harvest, 10-acre garden and potatoes. She knows how to skin and butcher a moose, a bear, a caribou, a porcupine. She knows how to teach her children how to do that and have a great work ethic. She was a homeschooler. She taught us all how to cook and be independent people and how to be a good wife and mother for us 3 girls. And I will tell you, I have so much admiration for her. In her later years, as she's growing older, everybody in the family kept saying, you need to write a book, you need to write a book. So she ended up writing 2 books. And she is a much admired author up here in Alaska, especially with tourists. So this is my mom. She's big boots to fill, but a great example of what it means to be a woman and a wife. And she loves the Lord. She loves Mary. And she is just, she's my mom. Her name is Mary. So I have 2 moms named Mary. Mary, my mother, and Mary, the mother of Jesus.
Wow.
And the other person I wanted to tell you about, because I admire her with all my heart, and I'm going to cry, is my mother-in-law, because her name is Millie, and she was a Presbyterian minister's wife for years and years and years. She raised 5 beautiful kids, and one of them was my husband, and my husband and I just celebrated 40 years marriage, and I'm so grateful for her. If anybody had a good mother-in-law, it would be me. I had the best.
Wow, Michelle, fantastic! You got a two for one there. That's that's really beautiful. And what did you say your mother-in-law's name was? Millie?
My mother-in-law's name was Millie.
Millie. Well, it sounds like she was absolutely fantastic. God bless her for bearing and raising your husband, her son, and your own mom, Mary. She sounds like 10 moms all in one, because that was an amazing list of things that you listed that she was able to do. What an amazing, gifted woman, and I'm sure that all of you and your entire family were all the better off and super blessed for all the things that she was able to do. What a great mom, Debbie.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Michelle, I have to ask you, as you were waiting to come on air with us, and thank you so much for waiting so long to be with us today on this conversation that we're having about moms. If you were listening to Doug from Blooming Prairie, Minnesota, did you start to, what he was saying, I thought it was so beautifully said. Did you start to relate that to Mary and Millie and, even the Blessed Mother? I mean, wasn't it amazing how he captured it from a man's perspective?
Yes, but the one that really touched me was Jerriann, because her mom, I've been a geriatric nurse for 45 years, and her mom is just like, why do we have such a respect for life in all stages? And that's why God uses us. He loves us so much, and He uses us. We think we're useless. We think we can't do the things we could do before, but He uses us. And He's using her mom to minister to people, even though her mom's not aware of it. What a grace and what a witness.
That's right. Well, and thank you for the work that you do. We love our nurses, and I'm going to just say something to you. I think it's safe to say that God will use us right up until we take our very last breath, and even beyond, even the few minutes beyond as we transition. So you are spot on, and that's why we love so much the Catholic Church and the teaching to respect life from the womb to the tomb. So Michelle, God bless you. Thank you so much for calling in from the beautiful state of Alaska.
Amen. Thank you so much. We're going to get to more of your calls. Jess is next in Texas. I want to tell you about a fine program on EWTN radio that I just really love. It's Fire on the Earth with Peter Herbeck. He provides a compelling look at the new evangelization through inspiring teachings, interviews, and testimonies. Peter's insights, and they are absolutely amazing. I heard him on Al Cresta's show the other day. His insights will help Catholics acquire the tools you need to do your part in the new evangelization. Fire on the Earth, Monday through Friday morning, 5:15 a.m. Eastern Time on most of these same EWTN radio stations.
Okay, so I think I got the mix-up right. This was a message that came in. So Kathy in Cheyenne, Wyoming, please send us a picture. And Susie in Louisville, Kentucky, is saying that her mom never, ever, ever had a mean bone in her body. That's beautiful.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, that's typical of moms, I think. All love. No meanness.
Right. I love that. So thank you, Susie. Thank you from everybody. You guys are great. The messages are coming in very fast about our moms. What a great tribute to women. What a great tribute to mothers and our Blessed Mother for sure in the month of Mary. Okay, Jess is up next in Texas on Armor of God Radio. Hi, Jess.
Hello, ma'am.
Hello.
Well, I'm calling to say, can you hear me?
Yes, perfect.
Hello, ma'am.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I'm calling to say that my mom was good at loving her faith, loving her God, and loving her family. And reason for saying this is I'm one of 10 of her siblings. There's 5 boys and 5 girls. And off a very low income, my mom and dad were both very devout to the family, devout to their faith, and they certainly loved raising a large family. We never knew we were as poor as we were because of all the riches they gave us in other ways.
Yeah.
So my father died at the age of 49. So there were still 7 of us kids still in grammar school, junior high, and high school. And for the next 23 years that my mother lived, she was a solid rock to us all, and played the dad and the mom. And she also fell to an illness, to a massive stroke, and it knocked out her kidney. So she had diabetic issues, and they amputated both of her legs.
Wow.
And the one thing that strikes, well, there's many of them. I mean, I could sit here all day long, but I took her to the doctor as an adult. I took her to the doctor because she was having bad circulation on her right hand, the pinky and the ring finger, or the next finger anyway. And the doctors came back in after sitting there and talking to each other, came back in and says, well, you're getting poor circulation. We're going to have to take your fingers. And, well, I wasn't ready for that. And I stood tall and I said, no, wait a minute, doctor. You can't tell me with today's science and technology and medicine that we haven't made advancements, that something can't be done. Like they bypass heart, like they do whatever, but we can get blood flow to those fingers. We don't have to take our fingers off. Now, I'm speaking strictly off of somebody that doesn't really know, but I'm thinking this, and it really bothered me. And I was pretty stern and strong in my voice, so he says, well, let me go back and talk to my colleagues, and I'll get back with you. Well, here's the part that gets me. She then grabs my hand, looks at me, pulls me toward her with a very endearing look and love and smile. She says, son, please don't be mad at the doctors. If they have to take me apart piece by piece, that's okay. Just know this. They can't take my faith. They can't take my God. They can't take my love that you kids give me. They can't take that from me. So I'm okay with whatever they have to do. And I'm sure God heard my cries, because the doctor came back in and goes, well, we have a procedure we're going to try, and let's see what we can do. So, within a week or so, they'd done the procedure. She never lost her fingers. But just that strong, loving faithfulness that she had is just profound in my heart and mind. She was a lady of, like I said, raised 10 children, and was well known to the community. Whenever there was somebody that had a sick or ill baby that couldn't afford to go to the doctor, my mother was that one they called at 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, and she would sit there with that baby and nurse that baby and bring that baby back to great health. And so she was a mother through and through. And to her very last day, when she was going to pass, she had an accident while being taken to a dialysis. They didn't strap the front tires on her wheelchair, and when he took off, when the driver to the bus, it slammed her head to the floor, and she had this massive brain bleed. And the doctor says there's too much going on with the congestive heart failure and the diabetes, and there's no way we can do anything about this. So we were more or less resorted to just praying over her, and she was in a lot of pain. And we prayed the rosary over her and prayed for us, and of course, 10 of her kids sitting there crying for her, and really at this point in time praying that God just take her from this pain. She then opened her eyes and gave us a beautiful smile. It seemed like every wrinkle in her face had disappeared, and she said, please don't cry for me anymore. I'm okay. And I knew right then and there that the grace of God had stepped in, and she was okay. We all kissed her goodbye. Within an hour, she passed.
Oh, amazing.
But that's the story. That's why I say my mother was a great, great mother, a mother of strong faith and love for her God, love for her family to the end.
And no self-pity. I didn't hear any of that come out, Jess. She was one of the themes that's running through this entire show is selflessness. So many selfless mothers, large families, major sacrifices. So many people, Jess, at the amputations and the potential of the fingers being amputated, and so many other things. She could have kind of turned in on herself and said, all of you feel sorry for me. But she actually told you, don't be mad at the doctors. She was kind of, in a sense, okay with everything that was going on. And what's really beautiful about your story, she may have been taken apart piece by piece, as you said, in this life, but we all have, God willing, a glorified body awaiting us in heaven. So she will be put all back together again in a beautiful, glorious way. What do you think, Debbie?
I think you're an amazing son, and for you to talk about your mom and represent the family, Jess, it just goes to show how her legacy continues on. Her first name, please.
Her first name was Maria Luisa.
Beautiful. Luisa. I got her in the book, and you were blessed. You were blessed abundantly. But by you telling her story, your story today, it lives on. And it's I think it's time we us women realize, and we go back to why we were created, how we were created, what it means, and the impact we can leave as mothers and as women. And Jess, you summed it up beautifully. Thank you so much for sharing your heart and your family story with us today.
Well, thank you, and God bless you all.
God bless you, Jess. Thank you. We only have a couple minutes left, but we're going to go to Josephina in beautiful Del Mar, California, listening on Ave Maria Radio. Hi, Josephina. We have just about a minute and a half, but we wanted to hear about your mom.
Okay. Hi, Debbie and Jerry.
Hi.
Yes, my mother was the best at sewing. She doesn't do it anymore because it's in June 26th. She's going to be 102. And, yes, she was the best in sewing, and, she's in a lot of pain right now. And also in pain. She's in so much pain right now. She has severe arthritis and other problems. She says that she's in a lot of pain from head to toe. But that she's not ready to go yet because she has a lot to pray still. Mm-hmm. The world. And for the souls of pray.
What is your mom's first name, Josephina, so we can add her to our prayer book?
Felicitas.
Felicitas. Is that what you said, Felicita?
Yes.
Beautiful name, Felicity.
Yeah. 102. Wow. Amazing. That is beautiful. And, I love the fact that, when you can sew and you can create things, and like your mother has done so beautifully, and that breaks my heart with arthritis because, it does tend to affect, your joints and stuff sometimes. But her sewing ability, that's another thing that can be passed on and lives on. It's amazing because my grandmother was really good at sewing too. And we have so many of her things, Jerry.
Yeah, I'll bet. Yeah, those are the things that bring the memories back and that you can, keep forever. John in Toledo, I wish we had time. You're listening on Annunciation Radio. You said your mom got you into the rosary, and I would love to hear about that because my mother also introduced me to the rosary one year, and I thought any mother who cares enough to give her son a rosary on his birthday, I should care enough to pray it. So I started praying the rosary, and Debbie, as you know, once you start praying the rosary and get a devotion to Our Lady going, our Heavenly Mother, it's a game changer.
That's right. Do you still have that rosary real quick?
I do, yeah.
Oh, wow. Beautiful. Okay, well, tomorrow we're going to be talking about how far back do you and your spouse go. Exciting topic tomorrow. And until then, we just want to say thank you so much for participating. We hope all you mothers had a wonderful Mother's Day weekend. And please don't forget our Blessed Mother during the month of May. So tomorrow we're talking about our spouses and how far back we go when we met them. So let's do that again in the Take Two way, the Take Two style. Until then, have a beautiful and blessed day. St. Joseph, please pray for all of us.
Coming up later today on Cresta in the